Hello and welcome back to more Into the Woods fun. Please forgive my slightly croaky voice. I'm a little under the weather, but we are continuing my summer of Into the Woods with Cinderella's ball gown. Yeah, off we go. Hercules. He's so sad. Anyway, so today I am going to get Cinderella's bodice, at least the lining done, and I'm going to try to flat line Hercules. And I'm going to try to flat line the outer bodice pieces with the organza, and then try to do the boning channels on the lining. That's what I'd like to do today. All right, Cinderella's bodice. Let's go. I'm also running out of pins because I've got so many pieces cut out and not put together. So gotta get some pins back. Okay, I got all of my boning channels sewn. I did decide to use this, my mock-up, as my interlining. So this will be the inside of the bodice. This will be against the skin. So I think that is perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. And this will be on the inside. There will be, you know, a layer of gold satin and a layer of organza over this, so this green's not going to show through. And yeah, I need to cut my boning for this and just make sure that I'm leaving, you know, enough for my seam allowance. And yeah, I'm gonna get all of my boning cut and inserted, and then I need to sew the bodice fabric together. Well, I still need to flat line the satin. Now I'm being lazy and like, do I really want to? But yes, I think I do. Big thanks to my monthly supporters. You are, as always, so awesome. Okay, I have Cinderella's peasant skirt gathered onto the waistband. This was a scrap left over from another project. It was already lined, so I went ahead and used it. And I'm going to get this sewn on, the waistband sewn on, and then just put a skirt hook and bar, and it's done except for a hem. And I'm gonna decide whether I want to do an actual hem or just do a zigzag so it looks a little frayed. So I haven't made that decision yet, but let's get this waistband on. got Cinderella's skirt done. It's a little big for this dress form, but it's all done. All right, I have my Cinderella's bodice pieces, and I'm going to flatline them. I've gone ahead and ironed all of them, and then I'm just gonna pin them together, pin the organza on, and honestly, I'm really I am reconsidering it just because this fabric is so wibbly. Like, even cutting it out, like, you can see that I don't have straight, my cuts were not great, but I think it's gonna look really pretty with the organza. Or should I just do the organza on the skirt? I just don't know. Like, what I'm worried about is because this fabric is so wobbly that when I'm flatlining, if I try to flatline using the machine, I'm worried that things are just gonna get completely out of whack and I'll get little like bumps and stuff, because this organza is stretchy. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather not worry about that, in all honesty. So I'm just gonna not. And I'm just gonna pin my bodice pieces together. I've been working more on the witch, and so she's gonna have her Act 2 costume is gonna be this kind of dark red off the shoulder dress. It's just a kind of a generic medievally style modern type dress, but it's got these fun sleeves, and then she'll wear that with the tree print cape. I started pinning this on the wrong way. I want this to be the inside, not this. So gotta unpin what I've pinned and repin. I have been playing around a bit with trim, and I think I like this, the way this looks here. So I'm gonna hand stitch this applique on. I just want to make sure it's even and everything before I start stitching it, but I like the way it looks. I think it's pretty. I actually wish I had more to continue it all the way over to the sides, but I do not. I am glad that I didn't do the organza on top of the satin, because I just think it would have been too much of a pain. But that's where we are now with Cinderella's ball gown. Okay, I have my trim sewn on, and now I'm going to put in the grommets. I have marked the places. I'm a little hoarse. There's been a cold going around the cast, and I think I may have gotten it. But I really like how this applique has turned out. I added this I had this left over from Cinderella's ball gown last year. So I added this to the bottom. I didn't have enough to do the bottom edge and the neck edge, so I just added it to the very front of the neck edge, and it looks really pretty. So I'm going to do my grommets, and then I'm going to set the sleeves in. Okay, today's the day. I am going to finish Cinderella's bodice. All I have left to do on the bodice is put the sleeves in. Well, make the sleeves and put the sleeves in. I have to cut out the sleeve piece in the satin because I had only cut it out of organza. I was going to just make the sleeves sheer, but I've decided against that. So I'm going to cut the sleeve pieces out of satin, and then I did the sleeve ruffle out of this net that has silver and gold stars on it. So I'm going to use that for the sleeve ruffle. And yeah, let's get these sleeves in. Okay, so I have gathered my sleeve heads, and now I need to take the sleeve ruffle, fold it in half, wrong sides together, and baste it. And then that is pinned and basted to the bottom of the sleeve. So the raw edges are all lined up. So wrong sides together for me is going to be the gold side, because I want the silver side on the outside. Now I also have this little bit of lace, and I was thinking that I could baste it on so it's just at the top of the sleeve when it gets gathered up. So I'm still thinking about that. I can always just tack it on the top of the sleeve later, which is probably what I'm going to do, since I haven't decided exactly for that yet. But so these sleeve ruffles are folded in half and then basted. And then when it's all done out, you've got your, and then, or you gather this, you gather the bottom edge with the ruffle attached. And then the bottom of the sleeve and the ruffle all get gathered at the same time. Then the cuff goes on like this over these edges, and then when it's all, then your ruffles out. I did just baste it on because I realized that I can't do my gathering stitches yet because the sleeves are French seamed. So I just made a little mistake and sewed my ruffle, like the top of the ruffle, or the seam of the ruffle, in the French seam. So I just cut it off. So I'm gonna trim these little tiny pieces. They're not gonna be super noticeable, and then I just put this together and zigzagged it, and I'm gonna do that again and reinforce it a little bit because it's still not quite together, but So don't be like me. Don't do that. Right now I am taking just the extra little step of basting the sleeves in before I sew them in. Just a quick basting stitch by hand, just to make sure that my layers are staying together, and hopefully to help and make sure that when I'm sewing, nothing gets out of whack. That's the hope anyway. All right, sleeves are sewn in. I'm going to trim the seam allowance, and then I'm just gonna go take it to the machine and do a zigzag stitch around that seam allowance. Okay, my sleeves are in, and now I'm going to add this lace on the top of the sleeves. I think it looks really, really pretty. And it does remind me a little bit of the original Broadway cast. She had little lace bits at the top of her sleeves, and I only had enough to do that, so I added it, and it's sparkly and pretty, and I'm really, really happy. I'm happy that this bodice is done. I'm going to start on the skirt as soon as I get these lace bits sewn on. So I guess I've started on the skirt. I've sewn the skirt panels together. Now I just have to gather them and do all that. I am working on the skirt now. I wanted to go ahead and hem it before I put the waistband on, because I'm going to also add all of the other layers on and sew them to this, and then gather them all together to fit the waistband. Okay, we are finishing up Cinderella's skirt. I have my sheer layers sewn together and gathering stitches done, and I have the satin layer sewn, hemmed. I have gathering stitches sewn in that as well. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have gathered the sheer layer to the satin layer and then done gathering stitches over both. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that, because I definitely don't want to sew over the gathering stitches that I already have made in the satin layer. Okay, my solution for not sewing over my gathering stitches that I had already done in the satin, but still needing to gather the sheer layers, because there's two of them, two sheer layers, but still needing to gather them to fit the satin before I fit that to the waistband, I pinned them on and gathered them, or the sheer layers, I pinned them on and gathered them, and then I just ran a zigzag stitch over the top Now, it's not entirely secure, but it's secure enough to be able to gather the whole skirt to the waistband. Now, for the waistband, I made the waistband much bigger than I need because I have decided to do a drawstring waist, which seems kind of silly for a ball gown. However, it gives me the most versatility that I can have because I can gather the waist down as small as I mean, not teeny tiny, because I did make this waistband pretty big. So I made it about, I think I did 12 inches bigger than the waist size of the actress, so that should be able to easily get over the hips or pull on over the head. And I can also, you know, of course, open it up a little bit on the at the back if I need more space. I can just cut a little bit more, but I think that this is going to be fine just as a waistband, without having to make an extra opening. But let's get this all gathered on and get this waistband done. Okay, so we need to take in this shoulder seam to tighten it up around the bust. I'm also taking in Cinderella's bodice. I'm just going to take in the whole bodice, because when we tried it on, it came together all the way. So it mostly needs to be taken in up at the top, but I'd actually rather have it not lace all the way closed so we can get a better fit. So I'm just going to take a tuck basically on, I think, as close to the boning as I can, so that it doesn't mess with the sleeve seam. And then it will make a little like pleat kind of in the trim, because I've already attached the trim, but that's on the very back of the dress, so I don't think anyone's going to know or care.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon. To support the channel further, I have a Ko-fi account, and that is linked down below. Again, thank you so much, and I will see you on our next sewing adventure. Bye!